And so welcome everybody, and thank you for being here from all over the world. Today we are going to present to you the master course in human-computer interaction offered by the University of Trento. The University of Trento is located in one of the most fascinating Italian regions, Trentino, in the northern part of Italy. And it is especially known for its beautiful mountains and lakes. And so it's an ideal place to live, to have fun, to practice sport, and of course to study. Let me give you some figures about the University of Trento. It has more than 16,000 students enrolled and offers 28 undergraduate degree courses, 43 master degree courses, and 19 doctoral courses. Now, I would like to introduce the speakers of the InfoDay. First of all, Professor Massimo Zancanaro, the coordinator of the master's course and the professor in charge of the prototype interactive system teaching activity. Then Professor Martina Kleiner, professor in charge of the research methodology qualitative and the design for social inclusion teaching activities. Then Mr. Michele Dell'Arco, head of the education and the student services. And then as testimonials, we are very pleased to have two smart graduated students, Cristina Bosco and Roberto Venditti. I'm Chiara Miorandi. I'm in charge of the student support office, and I'm the master manager of the master course in human computer interaction. At the end of the meeting, we are going to answer to all your questions. So you could write them in the chat during the meeting. Please remember to switch your Microsoft off and, if possible, to turn on your camera. And so now I leave the floor to Professor Zancanaro.
Okay, welcome. And I'm going to do a short presentation. I think you can see my video, my slides. I will just briefly introduce the course with the help also of Professor Zweiner, and then we will leave the floor to our former students for just giving their impression. And then, of course, we are welcome to any question you are going to ask. So first of all, this is a master course. What is in Italian is called Laurea Magistrale, and is in the European system is the second level of the university. We have the bachelor and the master, and this is common all over Europe. This is offered in collaboration with two departments: the Department of Psychology and Cognitive Science, where the master program is based, but also in a strict collaboration with the Department of Information Engineering and Computer Science. So what is a human computer interaction? Of course, if you're here, I guess that you more or less know what it is, or have an idea. But just to refresh it, it basically is a branch of computer science. And most people studying HCI and working in HCI or UX experience have a background in computer science. And this is a branch of computer science that has to do with designing, evaluation, implementation of digital technologies. But in contrary to other sub-disciplines of computer science, in HCI, there is a very strong perspective focus on human use, on the fact that humans are using these systems. And so since the beginning in the early 80s, and probably even before, it is characterized to be a highly interdisciplinary field. Encompasses not only computer science, but also psychology, sociology, and design. So in the recent years, there is this new profession called UX design, and most of people coming from UX design came from computer science. A lot of people also for visual design, from the Masters of Arts all over the world. And we are trying to give a new, maybe it's not unique in the world, you can find some other places in the world, but we are trying to give a unique perspective from the cognitive science point of view, from the psychology and sociology, but say all the human sciences, let's say. our objective is to train a new generation of researchers and professionals, which is able not only to do the visual design of an app or a website, but also to understand the complexity of the cognition, behavior, the emotion, in order to be able to design new classes of technologies that will rely probably again a little bit on visual design, but mostly on the different ways of communication between human and machines. We can mention, of course, artificial intelligence, that is a very hype today, and probably the hype maybe will be decreased in the next few years, but the artificial intelligence as a technology is here to stay. And people are not yet ready to properly design it. And so we want to take this stance of the understanding complexity of human cognition and then embedding this knowledge in the design of computing artifact technologies. And what we want to do is to provide a new generation of professionals, of course, people that can work in a new and very fast-paced world of technology, in which computer science still will have a great value, but not only strong computer science, but also for those of you who are interested, also provide a starting point for academic research, for doing PhD in this field. And so what we want to offer, but also to ask you, is to develop an understanding of HCI as an academic discipline. And so to ground the knowledge in solid methodological basis. Okay? If you are looking for just a UX alone, something that can be spent in the next few months in the market, I think that there are probably much more effective courses on Coursera. There are Google Design course, UX courses that are wonderful. And so what we are trying to offer to you is something a little bit more challenging, a little bit more academic level. But of course, also we know that you are looking for jobs. Okay, so we have also this perspective. As I told you, it is an interdepartmental master program. The two departments, quantity science and computer science, are in two different cities that are very close. They are just 15 minutes by train, one or the other. And of course, could be a little bit of annoyance that we have to do some classes in one town and some in the other, although they are very close. But of course, we will try to support you in just dividing the days. We will have 2 days in Trento, 2 days in Rovereto. But we think that this is a very big advantage, because you have access to facility, labs, and also perspective of these two worlds, an engineeristic and computer science world, and a more humanistic, psychological, and social world. And so, but of course, as I told you, you will end up in spending a few days in one part, a few days in the other, and not traveling up and forth each day in one side or the other. Furthermore, we also have a tight collaboration with the Bruno Kessler Foundation, which is a very large research center just in front of the computer science department on the other side of the street. And in Bruno Kessler Foundation, where I'm now, by the way, I'm located today in Bruno Kessler Foundation. It's a very large lab. There are more than 600 researchers, full-time researchers. There are they issue more than 100 PhD grants per year. And in LPK, there is no teaching activities. There is just research labs and research groups. And for several of our students can do internship and thesis and project work in Fondazione Bruno Kessler. Just a very brief overlook of our courses. We divided our program in more or less 4 hours. The first area of core HCI, the methodological area, and then one area social interaction and one area multimodality. We are asking to do some compulsory courses in all these areas, in each one of these areas. And then for you can choose to lean a little bit more toward social interaction or toward multimodality, depending on your technical skills and willingness and attitude. So for the core HCI, first of all, we have a bridging course. A bridging is a course that helps you to provide these lack of competencies that you can have. If your background is in computer science, you will ask to take the bridging ACI to psychology. And so in order to get some basic understanding of cognitive psychology. If you come from psychology or sociology or other humanities, you will ask to take bridging HCI to computer science in order to gain a little bit of understanding about programming and computer science in general. And then the other courses are compulsory. You will do cognitive ergonomics, participatory design, prototyping, epistemology and ethics, because we think that it is very important, the ethics of design today. We then have some electives that you can choose. We have digital making process and nudging, human language technology, social cognition, and we have every year we add and remove a few one of these. And then we have a strong focus on methodology, and you ask to actually apply the qualitative and the quantitative methodology, and to have an introduction to visual brain and design, to introduction to neuroscience, because again, maybe it's not something that you are asked if you go to work in doing a website today, but in the future, since the neuroscience and brain-computer interaction will maybe become more prominent, we will think that is a very good thing for people in HCI to have a better understanding of neuroscience, but also, as I told you, in a qualitative and quantitative methodology. The qualitative methodology is strictly connected to participatory design as a course. So when you study participatory design, you will use qualitative techniques, and in qualitative methodology, you will investigate the theoretical part. And so you will couple theory and practice. The same for quantitative methodology that is aligned with the cognitive ergonomics. And again, the theory and the practice. Then we have an area of social interaction, and we ask to all the students to do the social interaction course, which is basically an introduction to social psychology, but with a strong focus and perspective on design of digital technologies. And then if you lean toward this area, you should take the two elective courses, Design for Social Inclusion and Educational Technologies, that are more vertical in these disciplines. While for the multimodality area, you should do affective computing, which is a very basic introduction to artificial intelligence with respect to interaction, of course. And then if you lean toward the more technical part, I think they're very challenging, but also extremely super interesting. The multisensory interaction, which is probably the future of AI, and cognitive neuroscience and technology, which is basically brain-computer interfaces. Of course, taking these elective courses that are elective, so just the students that choose them should do, it requires a relatively strong technical skills. Then you can do, then there is like any academic course in Italy, you have 12 credits that can be freely chosen, where free means free like in free speech, not like free as in free beer. So it's something that you should choose carefully. You can choose among the other elective in the courses, but also among all the other courses in any department at the University of Trento. So you have the choice to focus on what you like to do. And then, or you can do an individual project, that is what we call the project work. And that means some individual project that is just for you, that you have to negotiate with a professor. And so this opportunity, these 12 credits, is a great opportunity to adapt and personalize your own career path. The program is just half of the story. So I will leave the floor to Professor Zweiner for the other half.
Okay, thanks very much, Massimo. So as he said, you can choose to personalize, in a sense, the 12 credits he was just mentioning through a more individualized program with a selected professor by working, for instance, on a project work. This is something that, bear in mind, you will have to decide autonomously, get in touch with the professor you liked or you share a research interest with, and then work on an individualized research project. Aside from the project work, there are also, you will be expected to do also the internship and, of course, the thesis. The project work can be either part of the 12 credits, or it can be a further, sometimes we did it as an additional work with some students that then might even lead to a thesis. So all of what we are saying, me and Professor Zancanaro, is to help you understand that your stay at the University of Trento within this master course can be really individually tailored, given your research interests, but also your research capabilities and your technical knowledge. If we move to the internship and the thesis, both of them wait for 18 credits, so there are a fairly extended period of your master course will be devoted to the internship and the thesis. The internship can usually takes place in the last semester or towards the end of your master course. One thing that we always recommend is to start thinking about the internship with some months in advance, because it's important for you to find a landing in terms of your either work or research interests for the internship, and to be somehow ready afterwards for the thesis. The internship can be a professional experience. So we have students who go for internship periods within professional realities, but we also have students who decide to do a more research-oriented type of internship. So also in here, you will have professors whom I think will be able to help you out to sort what is somehow the best option for you. You can see that internship and thesis here are separated, but in fact, they can also run hand in hand, so they can be connected. So for example, in the past years, we had students who did their internship, and during the internship, they also slowly started working on the thesis. So for example, the topic of the thesis was somehow connected to their internship experience. So again, it's really, I mean, this master course, it's really thought of as something where each student can tailor his or her own experience very, very individually. Can we move to the next slide? Because I don't know.
Sorry.
Oh, okay. Trento is it's a medium-sized university in European terms, but it's a highly internationalized one. So there are a lot of possibilities for you to study abroad. Here you see just a couple of examples with whom the HCI Master has Erasmus exchange programs. But aside from these ones that we enlisted here, the University of Trento has got an international exchange office that supports students, where you can also see, aside from these two that we warmly recommend, which other vectors would be interesting for you.
Maybe
Can
you
we ask
can
you
close
yes,
the microphone.
to close the mic, please? Can I ask you for the next slide? I'm sorry. Sorry. Okay. So the master you are somehow, I would assume, interested to enroll in has had a fairly successful, interest rate. We have been growing in all of our years. Now, clearly, this year was COVID, so we are happy to see that we receive always quite a lot of interest from both EU and non-EU participants, and we are really, really happy to see that the number of applications have been steadily growing in the past years. I don't remember whether we said how many students we select, but did we mention that?
Can you please close the mic, especially the person that is coughing, which is unfortunate. So, okay. So the number of seats available is 30. So we cannot accept more than 30 students. And there is, I think, 15 for non-EU at maximum.
Yes.
And then other 15 at
And the
max.
other 15.
And the other for EU students.
Okay. Okay, so when you prepare your application, bear in mind that your application needs to be, you really need to work on it, especially when you get to the motivation letter and all the documents that we ask you to prepare. You can get all the information that we kind of walked you through from the master webpage, and here also you have an email address where you can write in case you have additional questions, unless you ask them directly to us here. Okay. I think this is the last slide, Master. Okay.
Yes, this is the last slide. And for the application, we will ask you, of course, your track of records, your GPA, and so on. But also, we are very interested in understanding why you want to come to study with us. So we actually try to consider very, very carefully your motivation letter. So be explicit. Tell us why you think that HCI is your future and why you think that you would like to study HCI with us. And also, we ask you to do a pitch, which is just a short summary of your motivation, but in a video format. Okay? So the two, of course, are aligned, are more or less the same topic, but the motivation letter, you should be more in detail. In the pitch, you should take 1, 2, 3 minutes, don't make it too long, but just tell us with your voice, with your face, we want to know you, okay? And these are more or less the selection criteria is, of course, we would like to take people with a good background, academic background, with some experience, preferably with some good competence on either psychology of computer science or a little bit of both. Okay, I'm looking to the question. You don't need a grade, but you need to tell us your GPA just for a motivation. But since you are coming from very different realities, very different universities, this is important, of course, your track record, your grades, more or less. But we also consider your motivation letter as really important. As I told you, we prefer people with either psychology or computer science, or psychology or sociology and computer science, just because then it would be difficult to balance all the two. And so the pitch video is not different from the motivation letter. It's just that the motivation letter can be as long as you want. We read it. The pitch, we want to hear your voice, how you speak English, how your attitude, and so on. I will leave the floor to Cristina Bosco, which I cannot see. Hope that she's still there.
I'm here. Hello.
Okay. Cristina is a former student, one very successful former student, as several of our students. And now she's doing a very interesting path in academics. So she's taking a PhD. So Cristina, please tell
Yeah,
us your
hello
experience.
everybody. Yeah, I think, so I'm here, I guess, to tell you a little bit of my story. I graduated from this master in end of 2020. And after that, I didn't decide right away to go into academia. I worked a couple of years and then I understood that the industry was not my place. And I decided to do a PhD. Now I'm doing a PhD in informatics at IU in Bloomington, Indiana. So I'm based in US at the moment. And I mean, if I have to think about my experience in Trento doing HCI, I think it's a very good starting point also for people who want to do research, because it's going to be very hands-on. So it's going to be very practical. You get to do a lot of projects, but you also get to integrate a lot of theories and a lot of theoretical framework that will help you on if you want to, succeed in academia, if you want to keep continuing that path. At the moment, I'm doing HCI with my minor in gender studies. So I decided to expand a little bit, integrating, how can we design inspired by feminist theories. But in general, this is a very good starting point to get not only, some background in design, but also something about how you can design better, how you can design, to actually improve the interaction, but to have a long-lasting impact with the technologies that you are making and you are designing. I guess that's my contribution, if that's okay.
Yeah, thank you, Cristina. And
Welcome.
I can see Roberto. Okay, is there? Roberto has a different path. Is now working a very cool company that I love very much. So,
yeah. First of all, hello everybody, and thank you again for inviting me. Literally now in the office that Professor Zancaran was just talking about. So thanks to Trento, I'm now working with a company based in Rome, and I'm a UX designer. So I've graduated 1.5 years ago. So actually it seemed like yesterday, but already almost 2 years. So I started working when I was in my last semester. So before I even graduated, I was already working. I did the internship first, and then I was hired by this company. So it was really cool. And everything thanks to Trento, actually. They put me in contact with that. So I guess Trento really opened many doors for me. And yeah, I'm thankful. So regarding my general background and stuff, just to give you an idea of my path. So I come from a psychology background, but I also worked a little bit as a graphic designer. So when I came to Trento, let's just say I could draw things on the screen, so to speak. I was able to design nice graphics, etc., but I didn't have the knowledge and the methodology to really drive human-centered designs and processes. And I feel Trento really helped me in, I hear someone. So anyway, yeah, Trento really helped me in stepping my game up in regarding the methodology and the process in itself. So thanks to this experience, I really feel like today when I work in real interaction design companies, I really apply the things that I studied. Like, for example, from the courses that you saw in the list of courses, there was qualitative methods. I'm literally doing that. I'm doing interviews and these kind of things. Then I'm literally prototyping some designs, etc. So really what I studied at Trento, I'm actually applying it in my real job day to day on a daily basis. So I'm really happy about it. And I feel like if you're interested in design, but also, yeah, if the entire package offered by Trento, whether if you're a psychologist and you want to go, let's say, closer to technical subjects, then this might be a good fit for you, but also the other way around. If you're a technical person, you may want to go towards the more psychological side. And I guess really the whole package is really great, honestly. So yeah, I feel very, very lucky to have been a Trento student.
Okay, I guess the question and answers time was supposed actually to to take place after the presentation. So the presentation I was going to give some way. I'm going to just to make kind of a recap of some information already provided you by professors or coming out from this first question answers time. So according to call applications, 35 and not 30 as previously mentioned are 35 places are available for the next academic year 24-25. 20 positions are reserved to non-EU citizens. And of course, already mentioned, the deadline for applying is March 8th at the latest, okay? Please meet this deadline, otherwise you cannot apply for the next academic year. And 15 places are reserved to EU citizens. The second line is another different application form is the end of May, okay? In case of place not assigned to EU students, this will be made available for EU students in a second time. Application form is available here, this link. What is required? First of all, a bachelor degree, or higher degree, obtained by the end of June at the latest for non-EU candidates. That means that if you're going to graduate in July, in August, in September, you won't be allowed to apply for this master course. So only students obtaining their title, the bachelor degree or higher degree title, by the end of June. By the end of September is the deadline for EU candidates. So remember this, June 30 for non-EU students. The second requirement, compulsory requirement, is knowledge of the English language at least a minimum of B2 level. And it will be required in the application form to so give evidence to prove the knowledge of English at B2 level in different ways. Submitting a certification knowledge issued by one of these international assessment institutions like Cambridge, IELTS, TOEFL. All the 4 skills has to be tested. And remember to check the expiration date. Remember, like, for instance, IELTS and TOEFL have a 2-year time of validity. So after 2 years, the certification expires. The certification has to be obtained by non-EU students by, again, deadline the end of June, mid-September for EU students, okay? Or you can provide a transcript or record attesting an exam, a B2 level exam. So speaking the certificate and say clearly that you got and you took this exam of a B2 level, or being, for instance, having English as a mother tongue, or having attended a bachelor degree awarded in some countries like United States, UK, Australia, New Zealand, Ireland, South Africa, and Canada. So remember these 2 important deadline. End of June for the bachelor, for the title, end of June again for having obtained your certificate of English language. As already mentioned, you will be assessed by a committee assessing your CV and with a maximum score of 100 points. A maximum 50 points will be assigned to your academic background and your reference letter, sorry, and maximum 30 points to the relevance, the consistency of your previous studies and experience to this master course, and 20 points assigned maximum for your statement of purpose and your self-presentation, so the video pitch Professor Zancanaro already mentioned. And of course, I said, an online interview could be required for some of you by the admission committee. After the selection, 3 steps very important: the admission ranking list, the confirmation acceptance of the position, and the enrollment procedure. The admission ranking list will be published for non-new students by the end of April, at the latest, by the end of June for EU candidates. And all the candidates will be notified by email about the results and the admission ranking list published. Second step, confirmation acceptance place. So all the candidates admitted in the first place have to confirm their enrollment, paying an enrollment confirmation fee of €100 within 7 days, maximum 7 days after the notification. So after the graduation being published, you will be contacted by email, and we'll have 7 days to pay this confirmation fee, €100. If you don't do this, you would be considered as students, candidates renouncing the place, and this place will be assigned to the other eligible candidates following in the ranking list. After this pre-enrollment, this confirmation fee payment, of course, you will have to carry out all the procedure at the Italian embassy consulate of your country, of course, only for non-new students. Third step, enrollment. So the official enrollment procedures for EU students carry out starting from the end of July. For non-EU students, after their arrival in Italy, so in the first week of September, you will have to carry out this enrollment procedure and other administrative procedures regarding the bank account, the stay permit, the health insurance, and so on. Very important, another very important and strict deadline. Students, non-EU students, must arrive by the end of September at the latest. So if you arrive in October, you won't be enrolled in the master course. As said, this is a 2-year program, master program. Classes are starting mid-September. Will be taken only in presence, so no online activities, no online classes allowed. And the course attendance is not compulsory, but warmly recommended. The bulk of the classes going to take place in Rovereto. Some courses will be held at the Department of Information Engineering, Computer Science on the Trento Hill campus. 20 minutes by bus, by train from Trento. As said, 1 credit corresponds to 25 hours, and particularly corresponds to 7 hours of attendance in a classroom. And our courses are usually of 6 credits. That means 42 hours for each course. At least 120 credits has to be gained to be admitted to graduate for your graduation. Very quickly, tuition fees and scholarship system for non-EU students is a totally merit-based system. So our regulation entails that students can receive the 2 scholarships available for next academic year, or the tuition fees exemption according to the score they will have obtained in the ranking list. So the first 2 best score students, candidates, will get the scholarship and will be tuition fee exempted. Students, candidates scoring from 90 to 100 will be tuition fee exempted, and students with a score under 19 will have to pay tuition fees according to this table and according to the score obtained. second year, academic year, the same a merit-based tuition fees system. So students are required to gain at least 42 credits by August, so by the summer term of exam session, in order to maintain the merit. It means the scholarship or the tuition fees exemption. If students don't gain at least these 42 credits, they will be required to pay tuition fees in the second year according to this table. Accommodation and for non-EU students is dealt from Opera Universitaria, an institution partner University of Trento in charge of this. Accommodation dorms for students and also the university's canteens, restaurants, cafeterias. Accommodation is granted for the first year, okay, starting from more or less your arrival at the beginning of September. We have dorms here in Rovereto, this is a little town where the Department of Psychology and Cognitive Science is, and also in Trento, as said, 15 minutes by train. For you students, I guess today there are only a couple of you students attending this meeting. The tuition fees, scholarship, accommodation system is totally depending on the ISEE calculation. It means not the merit system, but the economic situation of the students' families. So you students need to have their ISEE calculated at one of our Italian fiscal supporting center. And scholarship, tuition fees, exemption, accommodation for EU students, only for EU students, are managed by Opera Universitaria. Every year, usually mid-June, Opera Universitaria issue and publish the call for application for these purposes, only for EU students. Very quickly, only to mention all the some of the student services provided by University of Trento, the amazing libraries here in Rovereto, also in Trento Hill, the sports opportunity with our sports centers, of course, the language center where you are, you could will be able to attend also other language courses if you want to. Very important, most important feature of this, the free circulation card, allowing students, spending only 50 euros once in a year to travel all around the Trentino region. So within the boundaries of our region, using trains, buses, coaches for free for the whole year. Professor Zweiner already mentioned the several mobility abroad opportunities provided by university to our students. So starting from the Erasmus Plus for Study program, allowing you to spend a semester at one of the partner universities of the Department of Psychology and Cognitive Science in Europe for taking courses, also internship and thesis research. Bilateral agreements is a program allowing students to spend a semester or 3 months in one of the partner universities all around the world outside Europe. And then we have other programs called Mobility for Internship, so allowing students to spend from 2 to 6 months for internship abroad at one university or institution chosen by the students themselves, and also a mobility for a thesis research program, allowing students to spend 3 months at one university or institution doing research for their thesis, 3 months scholarship and mobility program. So I'm done and try to do as quick as possible. And so again, if you have other and further questions for Professor and for us.
Thank you. Thank you very much.